Welcome to Livingstone Ranch.
Okay, so today I am going to ferment some sourdough. I've already fed my starter. It's here, nice and happy and bubbly. So it's ready to go. You're gonna do 2 cups of warm water, and not too hot. You don't want it to be too hot or it'll kill the starter, but kind of just lukewarm. So I'm gonna find the right temp. And I'm gonna get those 2 cups in the bowl. And I'm doing 2 at a time right now. Depends on how many I'm doing, if I'm doing an order. If I'm just making bread for my house, I do 2 loaves at a time. Usually a savory and a sweet. But I'm getting ready for an event, and I've been making bread for a couple of days, and I am trying to aim for 32 loaves, so we'll see. But right now I'm going to do 2 just to demonstrate. So you have a 1/4 cup here. You're going to want a full 1/2 cup in with your warm water of the starter. So I get it in. There's 1. It sticks to the inside of this, so you just kind of wiggle it. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can tell, there's a little bit left in there. Kind of scrape it against the jar. And then for the second one, I'm going to take this and I'm going to scrape it out so it's a bit more accurate for that last scoop. It's just going to go right into a glass bowl. And you're going to let this ferment overnight, which I'll show you. So again, measure that out. Kind of use the side, scrape it off. Dump it in. It's quite sticky. Sourdough starter is very sticky. So I still have quite a bit left in that first scoop, so I'm going to go a little bit over on this one. And then I'm going to go ahead and scrape it out. Alright, then I rinse mine right away, because otherwise it's pretty hard to get off. Kind of feel like sourdough starter is a bit like concrete. You want to get it wet and you want to get it off fast, otherwise it's hard to clean. So, alright. So now I'm going to take this down, kind of scrape the sides best I can. It won't be perfect. But that way when I feed it again, it won't stick as much to the top. So, best I can. It's not going to be perfect. It's very sticky. But it's a lot better than it was. So again, I rinse everything right away. I feel like all I'm doing is washing my hands and rinsing things when I'm making bread. So, all right. So once that 1/2 cup is in with your 2 cups of water, this is a sourdough hook. Now you can order it with a sourdough starter, and it comes with your baskets, comes with your scraper, your hook. Sometimes it'll come with a knife, and then also a scorer. And this has just a razor blade on it. But you're just gonna kind of want to break up that starter so that it's kind of implemented in all of the water. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. I just keep it down in the bowl and scrape the bottom of the bowl so it incorporates. All right, timer's going off. I have to get some loaves out of the oven. Spray it off, everything off. There's these loaves. extra hot. Make sure you always have protective gear on. Here's my mini loaf. One. Two. A little more space. This out. So I always bake 2 loaves at a time. That's what I can fit in my oven. So back to this. So if you've fed your starter, you let your starter rise. Once it's risen and it's happy, you're going to measure out 2 cups of lukewarm water, put a 1/2 cup of starter in, and then you're going to take bread flour. You're going to do 4 cups of bread flour. Now, some people level this off. I don't take the time to do it. I just like things quick. If it takes too long, I'm not interested. So typically what I would do is I would feed my starter in the morning, and then by the time I got home from work, again, it's 4 cups of that bread flour. I use organic unbleached. And then once it's risen, then it's ready to go. And I'll make these loaves, get them ready, cover them on the counter, let them ferment overnight, and then the next day is when I do the flavoring and baking. So it's usually a 2-day process. If I want bread, then I start it the day before. So now I'm gonna do, I use Himalayan pink salt. I think it's the best salt for you. I'm gonna do 4 teaspoons of finely ground Himalayan pink salt. And then I'm going to take that hook. Now, if you don't have a hook, you're able to use a spoon just as fine. I just feel like this helps it to blend a little bit better because it's made for bread. So you're just going to spin your bowl. I just spin my bowl on the counter, try to get all that water mixed in there. Now, if I have mixed it all the way around and I notice that my dough is still a little bit dry, look in there, you can see quite a bit of flour. I just splash it with that lukewarm water and then I stir it again. You want to make sure it's all incorporated. You don't have any extra water sitting around on the edges. So that's why I spin my bowl as I mix. And as you can see, it's starting to come together a little bit more like a dough instead of all separate. So once it's together, kind of shake it off, and then I like to wipe my edges. You can wipe your edges with your hands, a towel, rag. I like to just use a paper towel because it's clean and easy. And the reason I'm wiping the bowl is when I put the towel, the tea towel on top for it to ferment, I don't want to have a bunch of dough up on the edge of my bowl because then it's going to stick to the towel and make it really dry and messy because it's sitting overnight. So there's one. Now I'll show you again this bowl. So I just spin it. As I'm spinning, I'm just kind of turning my wrist so that it's incorporating. once I get all the way around a few times and I get all that water in there and it looks a bit too dry, I'll flash it. And I'll mix it again. Make sure it's all incorporated really well. You don't want any chunks of flour stuck at the bottom or in the middle of the dough. So now I'm going to stir it really good. Again, spin my bowl. As you can see, it's all coming together. And then I'm going to spray this off right away so that I don't have any dough sticking, cementing, getting too hard and too rough to get off. And then again, I'll take a clean paper towel and I just wipe my bowl down. But again, you could use your hands, you could use a rag, whatever you want to keep it down. So then what I would do is I would take a towel whatever dish towel you have, and I like to sit it underneath my bowls. And these are going to ferment overnight. Now the goal is to keep them out of the sun. I have my window right here and it's completely fine as long as they're covered with a tea towel. And I just take a regular white tea towel and I'll just stick it over top. Make sure it's completely covered. And then I just let this sit overnight. Now, I'm working all day, so for me it's fine. I just leave it on the counter all day long. And when I come home from work, that's when it's time to get ready to flavor and then put it in your bread bowl and put it in the fridge, and then it'll have a second proofing before you bake. So yeah, that's the process. And again, when I want to make bread, I will feed my starter in the morning, then get it ready, proof it overnight, and bake it the next day. Thank you. Please subscribe.